There are a couple of teams that improved their roster for the 2023 NBA season. Let's talk about a team in the Eastern Conference that you believe has really made improvements.
I would say the Cleveland Cavaliers. Obviously, I mean, when you're talking about three-time All-Star Donovan Mitchell being added to the roster, that is an improvement. That's huge. I think that's the biggest improvement that I see from the East that happened. And the Cleveland Cavaliers needed that type of player to help propel them to the next level in their playoff, journey. Think about it. They were going to make the playoffs anyway, I believe, without Donovan Mitchell by way of the play-in tournament. But now that Donovan Mitchell was there with his solid experience, the fact that when he was with the Jazz, they made it to the playoffs every season that he was practically there. Mm-hmm. Why couldn't he take that same type of experience along with Kevin Love and help move the needle in Cleveland? And I think he does move the needle in Cleveland. Not only that, they just signed an extension to Dean Wade, which is something that I know that I've heard seen in the comments, and you hear when you are listening to others talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers, that they are lacking in depth in three-point shooting. I think that the extension of Dean Wade will help with that. Uh-huh. They added Raul Neto to the roster this offseason. They added Robin Lopez to the roster this offseason. It's those types of pieces that I think will help off the bench, if you will. Ricky Rubio is coming back. They brought him back in. That, to me, makes the depth of the Cleveland Cavaliers a little bit better than what it was, right? Or not what it was, because losing Lauri Markkanen was huge. But it helps keep them in the right trajectory to kind of continue their pathway into going deep into the playoffs. And I think that Donovan Mitchell plays a huge role in that. And then these other ancillary pieces that they picked up help solidify that the Cleveland Cavaliers with their core will be, really can be an upset to the East when we're talking about 1 through 6 in the playoff standings. And so, I think they had the biggest impact and the most improved to their roster this offseason.
Nice. There's questions about the Cavs chemistry. In a recent video, we had someone, kind of wonder, like, what about the Cavs chemistry? How come we're not focusing on that? I don't see any issues with the Cavs chemistry.
I want the commenter to tell me what do they see in the chemistry, right? Because really, there's always going to be chemistry issues on all teams. I don't know if that's going to be the case. Now, if the chemistry issue is based off of whether Donovan Mitchell can play off the ball and Darius Garland can actually hold down and lead, I would say yes, because Donovan Mitchell played that same role in Jazz.
Right.
Right? He was not the primary ball handler, if you will. What was it? Mike Conley. Before Mike Conley was, I can't remember who it was. Drop down in the comments, tell me who it was. But I mean, he didn't do that. I think he's going to be taking his role that he had with the Jazz, adding it to what the Cleveland Cavaliers have already created, and he's going to be an added additional piece to that. And I just think that's what it is. And so I don't know if there's chemistry issues unless it's not at that role. Maybe it's someplace else. And if somebody knows what that is, tell us in the comments, because I don't see it right now. And maybe if you highlight it, I can say,
Yeah, no, I don't see it either. I see Donovan getting in where he fits in and just kind of transferring his whole personality and skill set to the Cleveland Cavaliers. So
which I think is a great fit. It fits that roster, and with their coach JB, they'll be fine. They'll be fine.
Yeah. Okay. So the team I think in the East who has made some serious improvements, just the Brooklyn Nets by default. Yep. I know it's by default. Now, come on. They did not have Ben Simmons at all last season. Ben Simmons has already made it clear on a recent podcast with JJ Redick that he's ready. And it is going to be something to see with him either running a point. I mean, they have him listed at power forward right now. But see, that now with Ben Simmons back, they have the flexibility. We're talking about a guy who can facilitate the offense, who also at his size, at 6'10", can guard the best opposing player. You're not going to find that on any other team. The Brooklyn Nets will be a mismatch waiting to happen with any team that they play against. I think they also added depth and flexibility as well. Now, Joe Harris was also out last season. We know what he can do, right? He's a sniper, even though I think the season before he got injured, he kind of disappeared a little bit. Trust me, Joe Harris has been getting his reps up. We're going to see a sniper on steroids with Joe Harris. And then I really like the fact that they added a dog in the paint in Markieff Morris. They didn't have a dog before. I can't think of any dog. I mean, KD and Kyrie, I think they're nice guys. They're great players, but they're nice guys. They're not trying to get up in your jersey. They're just not trying to
Right,
do that, you
right.
know? And then lastly, I think TJ Warren. TJ Warren, a great defender and perimeter shooter. If you remember TJ Warren with the Indiana Pacers
Hmm.
before his injury, oh, he was the
Nice.
man.
He's
Yeah.
nice. Hmm.
He
Yeah.
was the man. So yeah, I think the Brooklyn Nets have gotten better by default. And then of course they added those two little pieces as well with TJ and Markieff Morris. So I just can't go wrong. Looking at the Brooklyn Nets improvements over the offseason.
Now, a team in the West that I think improved their roster greatly is the Sacramento Kings. I know. I know. I was not feeling the Sacramento Kings for a long time. And because they have not made it to the playoffs since 2006, they were forgotten. I'm just saying. But this 2023 roster, oh, oh my gosh. Okay, let me just say they were able to fill holes. It's all about filling holes, right? So not only did they need to improve in rebounding, they got Domantas Sabonis. I mean, he only played a few games in the previous season. They will have him for the full season in 2023. So he's going to be able to showcase and do what he do. If you remember him with the Indiana Pacers,
Yeah.
Domantas Sabonis was also the man, just like TJ Warren was. He was also the man. So I think that Domantas Sabonis is a great pickup for the Kings. I know they picked him up mid-season in 2022, but he will be able to complete a full season in 2023, and that's exciting. Not only that, they were able to add Kevin Huerter and Malik Monk. Now, come on. If you did not see Malik Monk play with the Los Angeles Lakers, you missed games. And they needed shooting. They picked it up with those two players. I think the biggest pickup for me, really, I know we're talking about roster, but roster is constructed and is coach when their coach is somebody that is going to be a threat to the West as a coach concerned. I think it's going to be Mike Brown. I promise you. The fact that he's
Mhm.
going to be bringing in whatever he did for the Warriors and translating that to what he can do with the Sacramento Kings and that group of guys, mm, that makes me most excited about it. Their positioning in the West can be an upset just because of the coach and the other players that they have added. The Kings, maybe by way of the playing tournament, but I see them in the playoffs.
I can't help but just, really, really, really lock into you supporting the Kings for next season. I mean, as hard as you have gone against the Sacramento Kings, I think the Kings fan base needs an apology.
I don't think they need anything. They didn't like their roster either, and they did not like their previous coaches. Don't even get me started with Luke Walton, please.
Oh,
The Sacramento
okay.
Kings know, the Sacramento Kings fan base know that Luke Walton was not the guy. And then they brought in interim coach Alvin Gentry, and he didn't do anything either. I'm quite sure if everybody were really truly looking at what they had, which was okay compared to what they have now, which is most definitely an improvement from a coaching perspective and from a roster construction, they'll be fine. I don't owe nobody an apology because if they were being honest, they would say, "Thank God we're here today." Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, but it makes me wonder though, if the Kings had Domantas Sabonis, Malik Monk, and also Kevin Huerter under Luke Walton's coaching and
It may
leadership,
have been different.
well, yeah, it,
It may
it
have been
may have
different.
been different.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I can support
Yeah,
that. Yes, yes. But I think it's even better now that they're under Mike Brown. Mike Brown is fresh off championships.
yeah, he
I'm
fresh.
fresh off of a championship. I have championships under my belt. So yeah, he knows what it's like to get there. And I think that Domantas Sabonis is in a position where he's like, oh, I can probably finally, I really feel good about this. I mean, he was with the Indiana Pacers for years.
Yeah.
And they did okay. But maybe it was something new that he needed to be involved in as well. And then Malik Monk was like, oh, Lakers, you thought, oh, okay, all that work I did on your court last season, y'all just said you didn't want to pay
Yeah.
me? Watch
Yeah.
this.
Mhm.
Sacramento, where you at? You know, I'm just saying, like, come
Mhm.
on. And then they got this new guy, the new rookie,
Yeah, Keegan
Keegan,
Murray. Mhm. Yeah. Okay.
along with their core players that they still have on their roster. Oh my gosh. Yes, yes. Sacramento Kings, let's talk about them more often. News media, let's not sleep on them. They don't have that many nationally televised games. And if you got League Pass, you got NBA TV, you may be able to watch them. But no, it's going to be something. I am excited about the Sacramento Kings, and I believe they improved their roster this year, and we'll be able to see the results of that once the season starts.
Okay, I agree with you, but I didn't pick the Kings, but I did pick the Denver Nuggets.
Really?
Oh, yeah, the
Improve?
Denver
Ooh,
yeah, the Denver Nuggets improved. Now, first of all, they added KCP, championship DNA, won a championship with the Los Angeles Lakers. He's able to stretch the floor with his perimeter shooting, and you know he's a good defender on the perimeter. I think he takes the pressure off of Aaron Gordon, who has not, in my opinion, lived up to
yeah.
the expectation when he was brought over from the Orlando Magic. I haven't seen anything from Aaron Gordon. And then poor Jokic, he had to carry the Denver Nuggets on his back. And Aaron Gordon was still active. Like that should not have been. Now it worked out for Jokic because he won MVP. That's great. But it shouldn't have been that way. So with KCP, and then you also have Michael Porter Jr. coming back, and of course Jamal Murray, who we have not seen. The Nuggets are going to be really good. So they improved, I think, with the trades that they made. And they also added Bruce Brown from the Brooklyn Nets. Remember the kind of work Bruce Brown put in for the Nets? And I'm like, okay. But you know what? Even though Bones Highland was on their team last season, Bones got another year of experience under his belt. And he showed out. He stepped in big time and helped Jokic a little bit. So I'm looking for Bones Highland as well. He's just a phenomenal young player, and I think he's going to get a lot of airtime next season.
I don't know. With Jamal coming back, I don't know. I question it.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they don't forget about Bones Hyde because he came through in the clutch when they needed his help. And he was
Yeah.
able to really show up. And so now that Jamal Murray is coming back, don't forget about Bones Hyde in the process. And that's concerned for me.
Mm-hmm. I think he'll be okay because Jamal will probably be limited, especially in the
That's
beginning of the season. And
true. True.
yeah, everybody needs a backup. Michael Porter Jr. too. Michael Porter, he was out with his back after signing his massive deal, but Michael Porter Jr. can get you a double-double, and he showed glimpses of greatness before his injury. So I think the Nuggets are going to be really good. We're talking top 6 in the Western Conference.
Yeah, but they're always top 6 in the Western Conference.
Yeah, but they're going to be solid though. Jokic got to be feeling really good too after signing his extension, right?
Yeah. So then what is the expectations for them with this new and improved roster, as you mentioned, or not new, but improved roster, as you mentioned, when they're always in the top 6 based off of Jokic's skill set alone? So
Yeah.
is it to now finally go deep in the playoffs, make it to the Western Conference Finals? That'll be the only thing that I can see will be their next step because they're going to make the playoffs anyway.
Yeah. But see, now I think they have some more depth as well.
Okay, word. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can support
Yeah.
that. Go Nuggets.